Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the channel, Shelly's Millions. It's the Unemployment California EDD Q&A live for Sunday morning. I know a lot of you got a text saying that you qualified for Fed Ed for up to 20 weeks, and you saw your claim balances increase by crazy amounts today. But unfortunately, since the program ended yesterday, you're only going to get that 1 week of Fed Ed benefits. And of course, that didn't include the $300 boost. All right. Outside of that, I hope everyone is having a good Sunday. And I'm going to jump into your comments. I don't have any questions from channel members this morning. Good morning, Debbie. Vanjie says some people got, a text that they got added to Fed Ed. Sadly, not me. Will they continue to sweep the system and add Fed Ed to qualifying claims, or should I call? It's up to you if you want to call. I do tend to think that they're doing it in sweeps and that you may still get the message that you're eligible for Fed Ed benefits. But if you call, that might expedite the process, but calling's such a pain that, like, I would at least wait a week, maybe 2, in order to see if they do send you that text message. The same is going to be true if you're somebody that got the DNCP notice, the deferred new claim payment notice. I kept calling it the delayed new claim payment notice. Um, if you got that, most of you would have certified 9/4. So the soonest that I would expect to certify on that would be next Sunday. And again, it may take a little while to get all of that caught up. Okay. Fear says, never got Fed Ed, even if I qualify it for it. Should I call? It's not another quarterly review yet. It's asking me to reapply. I need to then. If your benefit year is over and you've had enough wages in the last 18 months, and there's something called a lag period, right? And if you have not completed any work since you first filed your original unemployment claim, you would fail, FAIL, the lag period. So you would fail lag, is what they call it, and you would not qualify for a new claim. However, you can still try filing a new claim and seeing if you're approved. It's just you're not supposed to get approved if you haven't completed some work since filing your original claim. With that said, I know of at least 2 of my employees who filed new claims even though they hadn't completed any work since we got furloughed back in March, and they got pushed through to the new claim. So, but I do want to caution you guys with a couple of things. I don't know if they accidentally approved you for a new claim and then later they realize that you haven't completed any work, if that could result in an overpayment notice. So be cautious of that. The same is true for those of you wondering about backdating your unemployment claims. Keep in mind that at some point, especially for PUA claims, they haven't asked for these documents yet, but they sent that message to your UI online inboxes that they're going to be requesting proof of employment. That's different than proof of income. So most PUA claims only submitted proof of income if they were requesting a higher weekly benefit amount. But everyone that got a PUA claim, even if you've returned back to work, is eventually going to be asked to submit proof of employment, meaning a lot of people qualified for PUA claims and they didn't submit any income verification. So now we don't know what the EDD documents they're going to accept are, but they're going to be looking for an offer letter or when you last worked. And so just be careful when you're asking for the backdating that they may ask to see that you had an offer letter back when you're requesting your backdating too. So keep in mind you just want to be honest about when your last day of work actually was. Okay. Rasar says, emailed my assemblyman this morning because you never got Fed Ed. Never was on that and you only had PEUC. I qualify as my highest earnings quarter times 1.5 gives me a number that's lower than my total wages. Is that right? Quarter times 1.5, that's lower. You need to have made more in your total wages than 1.5 times your highest quarter. So if your total, if your highest quarter times 1.5 is lower, it's lower than your total wages. Yes, because your total wages needed to be more. Yes, 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 yes. Sorry, I had to really think about that. So yeah, you're gonna multiply your highest quarter times 1.5, and then your total wages needs to be more. That's how my brain words it. I think we're saying the same thing. We just worded it. I had my brain took a minute to process that. Yes, then you should qualify. Some people, though, got Fed Ed as their program type way back in September of 2020, a year ago. A lot of times, what the EDD did is as we were waiting for the extensions to be properly programmed into the system, they rolled people over onto Fed Ed. So make sure that you're going all the way back to September of 2020 to make sure that you truly have never been paid out under the program Fed Ed. Jillian says, signed up for Uber Eats and did some deliveries. When I did Uber, what did I dislike? For me, it's adding miles on the car or racks up. You do it part-time, so you don't know, put 50, so I don't put 50K miles a year on my car. I didn't mind the mileage. Certainly I was having oil changes and things like that more often. I was probably putting about 5,000 miles a month on my car. Back when I was driving for Uber, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but I totally drove for Uber back in 2014. And I, I both liked the people and disliked the people. 2013 in September is when I bought my car. I'm still driving that same car. But it was really new when I was driving for Uber, and I remember one night I was driving around the night of the Grammys, right? And there were these 2 men in tuxedos that I picked up in West Hollywood, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." And those guys, like, proceeded to put their feet up on the back of, like, my car seat, and they were kinda tall, like, why would you whatever. I didn't like that. I also several times had people where I drive a little Prius C, so I have 1 passenger seat in the front and 3 in the back. And on more than one occasion, I had people being like, "Oh, can we put 5 people in the car and this 5th person will just sit on the floor, and can you scoot your seat up?" And obviously that's not safe, but Uber threatens you so much, like with, "Oh, if you don't get a good rating." I had people one guy, like, literally brought a cocktail in a glass into the car, and I didn't realize until, like, I heard glass, like ice, not glass. I heard ice, like, swishing around in the glass, and I looked, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, you can't. So, the things that people will try when you have passengers in your car, that part was frustrating for me, but for the most part, I liked talking to everybody. I felt like I could never time it right. Also, I work at the movie theater, and in my mind, I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. I'll be getting out of work right when the bar is closed. I'll just go drive then." And I did, but again, I've now heard that that's not the best time to drive. I would constantly get calls, but, like, everybody was very intoxicated. At one point, there was a man lying on the floor. Whatever. I have a lot of stories for Uber. I did not drive it very long because I was like, "Oh my god, this stresses me out." Same with, like, people call you late to take them to the airport, and then they wanna blame you if there's traffic, and they're asking you to drive in the emergency lane and everything. Like, for me, that was stressful. I don't wanna be responsible for somebody, like, missing their flight, even though it's not really my fault that they didn't call the Uber until really late. But good luck, and I feel like maybe, like, doing delivery service would be less stressful because there's not actually passengers in your car. So I hope you like it. Um, and I hope that you make decent money at it. And I hope that you don't have any of those negatives that I had. For me, though, the miles didn't bother me. I've always kind of commuted a long way. I don't now, but like my mom always drove long distances to work. So I just kind of got used to that. To me, that was normal. Hi, Scotty. Thank you. Oh, shoot. Guys, I lost my place. That means take a moment and like the video, please. Hi, Karina. Hi, Bad Grandpa. You just got home from Salt Lake City. A long drive. You sure miss unemployment going to Santa Monica tomorrow. Who knows where I'll end up. Yeah, Bad Grandpa is driving a truck, which I think is like an awesome job. You must get to see a lot of stuff, but I bet your tush hurts from sitting in the hopefully, like, those chairs are comfy. Good morning, Bella. Aw, wait, what? You felt inadequate? I gotta find the comment. Morning, Ben. Getting back to work is such a weird feeling after a year without doing it. It's like your elements are rusty. It's like a dirty car and you need to polish it up again. Yeah, and guys, even though, like, I'm still exhausted a lot of times and my body does still ache, I'm getting used to standing on my feet all day again, and just, like, being in go mode takes a while, but yeah, so I'd say about the 3-month mark, that starts to improve. Okay. Oh, I'm caught up, I think. Debbie wants to know, on PUA, will I get a claim automatically extended as DNCP? No, because DNCP, the Deferred New Claim Payment Program, that's only available to people on traditional unemployment claims. So, unfortunately, most people that were on PUA, it's either because you were self employed, a gig economy worker, or you didn't have enough traditional W 2 wages from your employer before you needed to file for benefits, or you hadn't started work yet because you only had a job offer but you hadn't started working yet. So, in order to qualify for any type of new claim, you would have to have W-2 wages in the last 18 months and complete some work since you initially filed your unemployment claim. Zara says, I have a claim balance on PEUC. Will I be getting an extension? It's possible that you would get the 1-week extension for FedEd that ended yesterday. It's possible that you haven't received that notice yet, but outside of that, there's no more extensions left. And I read an article, so you guys know that I had that video with the headline, 2.2 million Californians totally lost all of their unemployment benefits on September 4th. They said only 500,000 claims would be continuing. So that's on top of the 2.2 million. But that's like 1 in 5 claims approximately. 1 in 5 claims, because we'd be looking at a total of 2.7 million claims if we add the claims that were ending and the claims that were continuing. So only about 1 in 5 claims had an opportunity to continue. And then I read an article yesterday that said, of those 2.2 million claims that totally expired on their unemployment benefits, only about 350,000 were going to be eligible for that extra week of FedEd. So that number is actually a lot lower than I anticipated, um, of the people that would qualify for that program. Michael says, I was told that they filed the pandemic extension and put 1,800 in my account, which they originally took out a few weeks ago, but now it's not allowing me to certify, so not sure what's going on. If you're just missing the certification button, you would need to call the EDD to have them add that back in. You can use Claimer, that link's in the description down below. If you're totally over calling the EDD, which I think most of us are at this point, emailing your assembly member, also linked in the video description down below, is really one of the best, easiest ways to get your claim fixed without calling the EDD. Sev says, your claim ran out and they want me to file a new claim, but I started working. My payment is still pending. So, pending payments, your options are to wait to see if you're paid out under the conditional payment pay now program. They have until September 30th to complete paying out those pending payments, or you can call, or you can email your assembly member. Even if you've returned back to work, if you have pending weeks that you are eligible for, I think it's worth pursuing to get your benefits. Like, if you weren't working and you have weeks that were pending, get those paid. Scotty says, assembly member said that I don't qualify for FedEd because I was on FedEd to bridge over to PEUC extension. My program type never said FedEd. Scotty, how about back in September of 2020? That is when a lot of people hit FedEd. So I know that's when a lot of my coworkers did. So they applied in March, unemployment benefits, 26 weeks is typically about 6 months. So March, April, May, June, July, August, and then September, which was like right in between when they were approving the legislation for the first PEUC extension and when they were waiting on the computer programming at the EDD to be put in place. That is when a lot of people were put onto the FedEd extension is and I'm saying March of 2020 because that's largely when the pandemic hit. That is when like the highest spike in people applying for unemployment claims happened. So that's when that was. And that's why you have to go back to September. If you first applied in March 2020, a lot of people were put on to FedEd in September. That happened to a lot of my coworkers. Okay. So check back all the way back to September of 2020, a whole year ago. Manny Man says, "Can you still apply today? And I still haven't gotten an email about my back pay request. Why is it taking so long? It's been about 4 weeks." So it is taking up to 2 months to find out if your request to have your EDD unemployment claim backdated is approved or not. So you could have a whole nother month of waiting to find out if that has happened. And yes, you could still apply for benefits today as long as your benefit year has already ended. Courtney says, "I'm from Florida and was on PUA. Is Florida going to get benefits?" No, I believe that Florida is one of the states that actually tried to cut the programs early, and so they are not looking at extending unemployment benefits, and I'm so sorry that they cut you early in your state. That's terrible. Um, oh, Bella, that's what Bella's saying to Ben about the standing and returning back to work and just getting used to the grind again. All right. Lisa, yes, you can still request for your unemployment claim to be backdated. Just make sure that you're accurately reporting the date that you first um, became out of work. And to request backdating, you're going to go to your UI Online homepage, go to the Ask EDD section, and then from the drop down menu, select Request Backdating. Okay. Wise in the Wizard says, "I got a message after I requested a backdate recently that your claim is undergoing a validation process. Therefore, no action will be taken at this time." What does that mean? It just means that they're looking into it. A lot of people have had to do ID verification again. They may request income verification. So yeah, so they're just in the process of seeing if the backdating request is valid, and it is taking about 2 months to find out if you qualify for if your claim is approved for backdating. Milo says, "I'm still pending and I'm still being transferred from PEUC Tier 2 to Tier 2 augmentation. Haven't been paid since June. Our claim transfers part of that September 30th deadline for backlogs." It should be. But keep in mind, it is only if your payments say that they're pending. If you haven't been able to certify, if it says not paid, if it says disqualified, that would not be included in the pending conditional payment program. A lot of people too have filed appeals. An appeal on your unemployment claim, they are backed up by at least 6 months if you actually not a phone determination interview, but if you need to have a hearing, if you have filed an appeal, the appeal process takes about 6 months right now. So that also wouldn't be swept up in the conditional payment pay now program, only pending payments. If if the issue isn't pending payments, if it's that you can't certify, if it says not paid, if it says disqualification, that would be something that you would want to email your assembly member about and see if they can help get you paid. All right. Leo, so far, no state has won to back pay unemployment benefits. Do you mean some of the states that ended the benefits programs early did win their lawsuits against the state to have those benefits reinstated? I know Indiana was one of those states. Um, I don't think any state was having issues with backdating. Now, somewhere like Indiana where they ended unemployment benefits early and then the judge overruled that decision and said, "No, you can't do that." Do you mean that they haven't started paying the payment since they cut off early? That's possible. Okay. Lisa, I'm not sure why don't they accept my back date? They can be for a lot of different reasons. You would either need to call the EDD to find out why your back date wasn't approved or ask your assembly member to look into it for you. Uh-oh, I lost my place, and so I'll take a couple random questions as I scroll back up. Good morning, Pamela. Good morning, Young Pop. Good morning, Andrew. Florida is a red state. They're pro work and anti EDD. It's not called EDD in Florida. I think it's called the Department of Labor, even though that's like the Florida Department of Labor, which is confusing. Okay. Scotty, okay, so did you check all the payments though? Because they're the other time, so you have to check all of them from now back to September. So even like if you check September, when was the other time? I think in March of 2021 was another time when they switched people on to Fed Ed. And if you really never got Fed Ed and you can prove that in your program type, maybe screenshot every single payment and be like, I never got Fed Ed. Here's where it shows that I've never been paid under the Fed Ed program, and then send that back to your assembly member and see then if they could get you paid. Oh, why are my cherries upside down? I don't know. This one's kind of right side up. I hadn't noticed that. Was this a misprint? I don't know. Okay. That's funny. Wagdy says, after I'm done with my UI, can I apply for family leave? I would definitely need to look more into paid family leave. That's generally for like if you just had a new baby or something like that. Michael says, good morning. You certified this morning for your last $300 boost as well, as I got rehired at my old job of 3 years prior with no interview or even application. So excited starting next week. Michael, that is awesome. I hope that you're still will you still be able to moderate for Jenny? I hope so. Okay. Bella, inadequate in that you've got it. Yeah, yeah. Myra, you got your boost for the week ending the 4th. Yeah, if you certified today for the week ending September 4th and the week ending September 11th, that first week, the week ending September 4th, does include the extra $300 weekly boost. I'm scrolling back up. Okay. Jose says, you finally found out about your claim status button. You have a UI claim, just never got the award letter in the mail. That is weird, but I'm glad that you know your claim type now. Oops, my eye itches. Okay. Oh, I'm caught up again. Michael Morris says my claim balance exhausted 5/22/21. Still waiting for my claim from May 22 till September 4th. Tier 2 rep said I was eligible and approved for the new extension. If you have not been paid in that long, I really, really, really recommend emailing your assembly member and seeing if there's anything that they can do to help you get paid faster. Kendra says, what if I just reapplied? And did you see the press release I posted? Jen saying there are funds. They can help and they are working on this due to every state being in a different place. Kendra, I didn't. Are you able to drop that link in this chat? Because of all the spammers, and I see that it's not working. I see that people are pretending to be me, they're impersonating me, and they're asking you to contact them. Please don't. That is not me. I will never ask you to contact me, especially not in like weird bubble letters or anything like that. But because I don't want you guys to be exposed to that type of behavior on YouTube, I have links blocked. So I will check for that, but if you could drop that in chat, that would be amazing. I have not seen that. Carolyn says, riders are entitled. Yes, I've shared rides and was very annoyed by the other riders, so I can imagine how annoyed the drivers were. Yeah, I was driving, so that's like Uber Pool or like Lyft Line, I think they called it. And yeah, I stopped driving right as they were like changing over and adding in Lyft Line and Uber Pool. So I didn't ever like have to pick up like lots of different passengers. I know taxis seemed super bitter. Like a lot since I drove after work, a lot of times it would take me to Hollywood and I was picking up in the clubs. And then it was like impossible to pull over to the side of the road when you're driving Uber. And the taxis were like trying to like, I don't know, like not let you park to pick cars up. And that's another thing, like so much illegal parking, like picking people up and dropping them off. It made me stressed out, quite honestly. Oh, thank you, Mike, for saying that Jenny and I are the best. Da, 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 da. Zyra says, I still have a claim balance on my. Oh, we answered that, but no, there's not. There's no more extensions unless you qualified for the Fed Ed extension. So that would be the last extension. The next option would be to see if you qualified for a whole new claim. Oh, good morning, Vanessa. Yes, I'm doing well. I hope all of you are doing well as well. Rose says, yes, I'm doing well. Got a notification that they're giving me Fed Ed if I qualify, but I don't know what that's about. Um, I actually have that linked in today's video description as well. The video that will tell you how to see if you meet the earnings requirements for Fed Ed. I would say in general, it's probably a good sign that you got that text at all. Hi, Kira. Hi, Kendra. Jen said it's really important that they help those who need help. Is that Jen Psaki, the press secretary? Psaki? I'm bad at names sometimes. Yeah, I would really like to see that press release, and I'll make a video on it because I have time today. Okay. Okay, Fred says, will I be put back on my regular UI benefits? I was put on PEUC in April when I opened a new claim. If you got the DNCP notice, then yes, the deferred new claim payment notice. And guys, I went over this in a video the other day, but I finally figured out the notice doesn't exactly say that it's DNCP notice. The notice says, hold on, I definitely screenshotted this. I'm gonna find it this time. Oh boy, I got a lot of videos. These are all the takes, guys. That's clips for one video, two videos that I haven't posted, but all those little short videos, million clips to make them. All right. Now that I'm past this. Okay, so what the DNCP notice actually said at the top, it says notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation extension. So at the very tippy top of that notice, it doesn't say like deferred new claim payment notice, which would make sense, but far be it from the EDD to do something that makes sense. So, what you're looking for in your UI Online inbox when your benefit year originally ended is notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation extension. And then it talks about the new payment. It says, how does this new program affect me? You will continue receiving your PEUC extension benefits as long as you keep certifying. There's no need to contact the EDD. What happens to my new regular unemployment claim? Your regular claim will remain open until, and then it'll actually give you your benefit year end. However, you will not be paid regular UI benefits for the same weeks, for the weeks that you're paid PEUC benefits. Once you've collected all available benefits on your PEUC extension, and if you're still unemployed and eligible, the EDD will automatically start paying benefits on your new regular UI claim. There's no need to contact the EDD. So that's kind of what that notice said. It doesn't talk about DNCP very much throughout that, but that's what you're looking for. All right, neck. I think I slept wrong. Hold on. Would that be weird if I crack my neck on live? It hurts. It didn't want to crack. I was going to crack it regardless of what you guys said, but it doesn't want to go. Cracked on that side. I feel like I have a knot. Okay. Anyway. Now my hair is a mess. All right. Whew. Kira, anyone know if there will be stimulus checks coming? So that would be the Golden State stimulus here in California. I don't know. They're supposed to complete it, I think, by December. Um, I still haven't gotten mine. I bank with Wells Fargo and nothing for me yet. Okay. Oop, doo, 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 doo. Aw, Active Life is glad they got their last payment. Young Pop says, I started PEUC Tier 3 final extension for 1 week before my claim ended 8/16. They kept me on the extension until September 4th. I should have got the FedEd extension. I've never been on FedEd. So again, they may still be rolling out those notices in batches. It's possible, or in sweeps, as some people call them, sweeping claims and then sending the notification. So it's just possible that they haven't swept up your claim yet in order to send you that notification. I would give it about a week or two to see if you'd be able to certify for the week ending September 11th. Keep in mind that even if you do get swept up, next week, the week after, you would still be able to go back and certify for the week ending September 11th and get paid out on that week. And that week does not include the extra $300 a week boost. While I take a sip of water, I would love if you guys liked the video. Ashlyn says, my EDD card never got delivered. What should I do? You need to call the Bank of America EDD debit card line and find out where that is. So not the EDD. Google Bank of America EDD debit card, and that should have the number to call to find out where your debit card is. And Dres says, if I'm on UI and my balance hits 0 today, will I hit a new balance? No. And if this is what I was concerned about happening, since so many of us became unemployed in March and April, that's when our benefit year ended. And that's when we had to file new claims recently. If you were approved for that new claim and you were put on the new claim, which it sounds like you were, then you would have a benefit year end in March of 2022, and you will not be able to even try to file a new claim until March of 2022. If your benefit year end is October of 2021, you can't file a new claim until after October of 2021. If it says April of 2022, you can't file a new claim until your benefit year ends, even when your claim balance hits 0. And you guys kind of watched me count this again. So a lot of us became unemployed in March or April of 2020. That's when we first had to file new claims and see if we were eligible this March 2021. 26 weeks of unemployment benefits is roughly 6 weeks. So March, April, May, June, July, August, last payments here in September, but there's 6 months until your benefit year ends. Okay. I never like giving bad news. But yeah, you're welcome, young pop. Did I say good morning, Pamela? Wisdom Meditation says, will we get the claim balance? No. Not unless you're approved for a new claim. And even then, you don't really have access to your claim balance. You would just be approved for a whole new claim. Even if you got loaded up with an extension, the FedEd extension today, and I haven't had time to look and see if they loaded claims up with 13 weeks or 20 weeks because the text message says 20 weeks, but the program for a long time now has only been for 13 weeks. But even if they just loaded up your claim balance, you're not going to have access to that claim balance because the whole program expired September 11th, that FedEd extension. The other programs expired September 4th. So you don't have access to that claim balance. It's inaccessible and goes back to the federal government. Okay. GJ Jones, we are not going to have PUA extended. I have not seen anyone talking about that right now. Brooke says, do a follow up with your EDD card. Yep, exactly. Debbie says, I lost my place. I'm scrolling back up. Debbie. All right. Debbie says, did a new claim at the 1 year mark with a rep, and it was $25 under. So got to keep my original claim through the duration of 9-4. Although my claim says PUA, I wonder should be PEUC and moved to DNCP. I'm W2. Did you get the DNCP notice, that notice of eligibility to stay on the pandemic unemployment compensation? Because then you would be moved to the new claim. They did put some people on PUA that were not supposed to be on PUA. They did that because sometimes the PEUC extension wasn't programmed into the EDD's computer yet. And so the reps were trying to be helpful and making sure that you didn't have any weeks where your benefits were unpaid. And so put people onto PUA unemployment programs when they really shouldn't have been. Um, Debbie, if they don't pay you like they should in a couple weeks, if they don't move you over onto your new claim, please email your assembly member. That would be my advice, because it sounds like they messed up your claim somehow to me, and the assembly members are going to be your best bet for getting that fixed correctly and without a million phone calls. Okay. Ojo, yep, you can still request backdating on your unemployment claim. But keep in mind, especially if you were PUA, the EDD is going to request proof of employment. So, like a job offer letter. So, if you didn't file for benefits when you were first eligible, they're going to be asking kind of for backup proof as to why before they approve that backdating. And it's going to take about 2 months to find out if your backdating request was approved. Bad and Bougie says, I was sent a message of a 13-week extension, but I didn't certify today. Didn't let me. Why do you think? I'm not sure. It's possible that some people were sent like the PEUC extension notices automatically, even though that program expired. If you didn't see your certification button, I would call them and find out why, or email your assembly member. Leonard says my certification lapsed months ago and I still have 4 payments pending because I did a WIOA application. I quit my job in exchange for learning opportunities. Should I have to recertify? You I would contact your assembly member. Anytime these claims get kind of complicated and it seems like the EDD did not put you on the right path, really, really, the assembly members are the best bet to get your claim fixed. And that's linked in the description down below. B is sad the extra 300 ended. Yeah, it's going to be really tough for a lot of people to make ends meet without that extra money. So I wish you all the best of luck in your new pursuit of jobs. If you guys have any questions about applications or resumes or interviewing, feel free to drop those in the chat as well. Sherry says everyone should talk to their state assembly person. They helped you. Yours was frozen since March and you're paid up now. Honestly, I've been calling them saints and superheroes. Those assembly members have just been so helpful, and it's not even normally part of their regular job description to do that, but they really stepped up and helped people where the EDD failed us. Arnold, thank you. You're welcome. King, you're also welcome. Per review of your records, your claim is currently undergoing a validation process. Therefore, no action will be taken at this time. So it just means that it's undergoing the validation process, and when that is complete, you'll find out if you're approved for the backdating request or not. Sherlon says, Indiana is my state. What happens to the balance of PUA? It gets returned to the federal government. Since those were federal programs, once the programs end, it goes back to the federal government. Oh my goodness, I'm going to mess up your name, but not on purpose. Tulipeni says, does regular UI still have an extension? So regular UI doesn't have an extension, but if your program type says UI, then you would be allowed to certify for benefits until your claim balance reaches 0. And then once it reaches 0, you're done until your benefit year ends and you can see if you can qualify for a new claim. Okay, Michael Morris, I did yours earlier as I was scrolling around. But if you missed my answer, I would email your assembly member. If you have payments that you haven't been able to get paid on way back from May, email your assembly member and see if they can help you get paid. Oh, keep hydrated. I don't have my coldest water bottle in front of me. Anyway. You kept reminding me to be hydrated last week when I streamed for 3 hours. I'm not going for 3 hours today, guys. Danny says hello. Yes, hi from Linda. Manny Man says, will they include the $300 boost in the back pay, even after the fact that it's over? They're supposed to. So if you have requested backdating and they do approve the backdating request, those payments, the payments that are approved prior to September 4th, should include the extra $300 a week boost. Okay. Andrew, how do I feel about the recall? And the possibility of Larry Elder. All right, we're going to talk about this for just 1 second. I think traditionally, right, Larry Elder is running on the Republican ballot. Traditionally, Republicans are not as in favor of helping people on unemployment. I don't know his specific stance on that. Here's what I will say in terms of I think recalls in general are a waste of money. I don't think Newsom handled any of this very well. So here's my advice. Whether you vote yes on the recall or no on the recall, research the alternate candidates and pick one. I know a lot of people are saying not to pick an alternate candidate, but if you vote no on the recall and then you don't select who you want to take office in the event that the rest of California votes on the recall, then you had no say in who is our governor. So follow your whatever you want to do, research it for yourself. But even if you're voting no, I don't think you should leave section 2 blank. That's my opinion. That's all I'll say on that. All right. Esther says, you had Fed Ed. It ended on September 4th. You still had a balance of 5,257. What happens to that balance? So again, that gets returned to the federal government. Joseph says, once you're YouTube famous, people start impersonating you. I don't consider myself YouTube famous at all. I think 2 people have recognized me at work. Definitely not YouTube famous. The people that start impersonating you on YouTube, they hit up finance channels and they hit up channels where like people would be looking for finance help or help getting money that they're owed because they're like, oh, there's money involved in this. And so if I just say that I can help them get their payments, and I impersonate the creator of these videos, then I can prey on innocent people. I don't think it has to do with it happens to small channels too. And I still consider myself a small channel, but that's so cringe. Okay. Milo says, Jenny and Shelly are sisters. Okay, you guys, this is funny. Way back, we got to say something, nice, right? I'm blonde and Jenny kind of has the red hair. And I was like, Jenny, we should stream on Halloween and we should go as Anna and Elsa. Wouldn't that be cute? Because I'm blonde. I guess I'd be Elsa and then she'd be Anna. I think that would be so adorable. And then she'd have to wear little braids in her hair and I would have to wear pale blue. Anyway, whatever. We did not have time to make that happen. Truthfully, she didn't seem all that interested. It was probably because I pressured her. She's got kids. She gets to dress up and take them trick-or-treating and things. Did nobody trick-or-treated last year? Or is trick-or-treating still canceled? Anyway, we did not have time to do that. The offer is still open. Or if you guys have another idea for a Halloween stream where Jenny and I could wear themed appropriate for YouTube and all platforms, not anything questionable. Maybe we can do that this year. I think that'd be fun. Okay, and Jenny and I eventually are going to have another collaboration, but I don't know when. Jose says, your claim first week to certify started on September 5th. Do you think I'll get the last $300 boost? No. So the boost was for the week ending September 4th. If your new claim starts September 5th, that will not include the boost. That would be the 5th through the 11th, and that week will not include the boost. It's the week ending September 4th. Okay, King, I answered yours. The HB City says EDD is over. Why are there videos still of it? Because people are still having problems and people are still owed a lot of money. And for some people on FedEd, it just ended yesterday. And for some people on regular unemployment claims, it doesn't end until their balance. It could end three ways. Balance hits zero, you return to work full time, or your benefit year ends. So that's any of those, whichever happens first. Benefit year ends, claim balance hits zero, or you return to work. And also, I would like, we can talk about anything in here. I love the stock market. So I love investing platforms. I would really like to see us really get ahead as we move forward. We can talk about resume building. We can talk about interview questions. We can talk about any of those things. I'm happy to talk about other things that are going on in your lives. I'm happy to be your cheerleader, guys. Whatever you are interested in pursuing, as long as it's legal, I'm happy to like encourage you. Yeah. So I hope that you all know that. Okay. So yeah. Catherine says, does backdating still work? Yes, but it takes up to 2 months to find out if you're approved for backdating. Thank you, Rob. Oh, I have a beautiful face without the glasses. Well, thank you. I feel like then I have like weird bags. All right, I won't do that. But anyway, also I posted a picture on my community post from right when Francis first did my hair. And someone was like, you should have put on makeup. Well, that was a real world photo. But thank you. Okay, Xander says you received a text from the EDD saying that we filed the federal state extended duration extension on your unemployment claim. Is this an error since FedEd ended? I certified for 1 week of UI today. That sounds like you certified for the Fed Ed extension today. It's not exactly an error. Whenever they send out the text, it's always the standard message, right? Of the maximum number of weeks, even though the program expired yesterday. Same with the claim balance. They load your claim balance with the maximum number of weeks, even though you can only claim 1 week of benefits. So it's not exactly an error. It's probably not the best way to do it, but think about how many problems the EDD computers had keeping up with things. If they had to calculate how much 1 week of FedEd benefits would be for Shelly, but they had to calculate how much 3 weeks of benefits would be for Jenny and 8 weeks for Xander, then it would be really confusing for the computer programming and it would probably mess things up even more. So it was probably easier for the EDD computers just to award everyone their maximum number of weeks. And that amount could still be different from everybody because the benefit amounts are anywhere from $40 to $450. But at least if they're telling, it would be like probably one line of code versus lots of different lines of code, right? The code would say award Shelly 13 weeks, award Jenny 13 weeks times their weekly benefit amount. It's just easier on the computer programming to write that line of code where it would give everybody the maximum number of weeks versus trying to calculate how many weeks each individual got depending on when they became eligible for the program. I hope that made sense. Because it wasn't just 1 week for everybody, because some people got on FedEd differently. Anyway, just easier on programming. Okay. Will the EDD be bankrupt? Michael's asking. Fascinatingly enough, I don't think the federal government lets the EDD go bankrupt, but in order to pay the regular UI claims, the state of California had to take out loans from the federal government, and we will have to pay those back in installment payments because it was just a loan. we had to do that because so many people qualified for regular unemployment benefits and collected them during this past year and a half. The other programs were federally funded, so we never had the opportunity to go to bankrupt over those. But yeah, California had to take out a lot of loans just to pay people that have program type UI. But I think how the government works is you can just take out indefinite loans, which is a little bit scary. I will also say that a lot of times when someone is talking about not wanting to extend the unemployment benefits programs, that's what they cite. Well, this is creating debt for future generations. And there's some truth to that. You can't borrow endlessly um, and not have it have consequences down the line. So there is some logic and some reasoning about why they don't want to extend benefits. Um, but yeah, it's just bad timing for sure. Okay. Oh, I lost my place. That means like the video, Mayor Bear got a job. That is awesome. You signed a contract on Friday. I am super happy for you. Yerba Buena says, you think we'll get another stimulus check? Not here in the state of California. California has already kind of let us know what the fourth stimulus check in the state of California really is that Golden State stimulus. And I have not heard talk about additional stimulus checks. So yeah, I think in California we're done. Uh-oh. Catherine says, when I filed a new claim, would I get a new debit card? No. Hang on to those debit cards. They are valid for 3 years. I actually just saw mine in my wallet the other day. I looked at it. Mine has an expiration date of 2023. So you do not get a new debit card on your claim unless you report that it's been lost or stolen or unless it's expired. That actually happened to a lot of people at the beginning of all of this is they threw out their EDD Bank of America debit card, and then they were like, "How do I get benefits?" And Bank of America was like, "Well, we loaded it onto your card." And they were like, "I threw that away like years ago." So those debit cards are good for 3 years, so hang on to them. Of course, the new debit cards do have the chips in them, or they're supposed to. So that should keep everyone a little bit more protected. If you do dispose of your EDD debit card, cut it up into lots of different pieces, put those pieces in different trash cans, one in the bathroom trash, one in the kitchen trash, one in the dumpster, one in your neighbor's dumpster. Make sure that the pieces can't be put back together. And then potentially you could ask for a new debit card. I wouldn't do that though. I would keep your debit card. Just make sure that that you have the funds set up to transfer off of the debit card immediately. Okay, NDB, I'm scrolling back up. I did lose my place, so I will be on the lookout for your question as I scroll back up. Aw, Debbie Hall, I love it when you leave the alien faces though. Okay, Debbie says, the EDD is a mess. Yep. The Assembly's member's office must be called again with the new problem. PEUC, not PUA. What a disaster. Yeah, they are. But thankfully the Assembly members have been really awesome. Big Boss 23. I hope not. I really want us to come together and help each other and try and remain positive. I know it's hard and I know it can be scary, but we're going to get through this, right? We are resilient as human beings and yeah. Okay. All right. I don't think the question came through live chat. No, I got it set up right today. Do they really want us all to work at Walmart and McDonald's? Possibly if that's what it takes. Some of us might have to work 2 jobs. But I'm gonna be a cheerleader for working 2 jobs. If that's what it takes, we'll get it done. And I believe in you guys and maybe that would wind up with a little extra money. Maybe you could start investing with some of that money and really trying to work on getting ahead. And I know it might be hard to think about getting ahead right now, but I do like I like to focus on the long term. I like to plan ahead. I like to know what's coming. And more importantly, should something like this ever happen again, I don't want it to knock any of us flat on our cabooses. I was really startled when all this happened and my saving, spending, and investing habits changed. My outlook changed. For the longest time, I was just contributing the minimum to my 401k, I still had a little bit of debt. It was either low interest or I paid off the balances in full. Um, but I don't wanna go at it the slow and steady pace. I'm back to work full time, but I wanna keep doing YouTube because I wanna create, like, a little cushion for myself of funds so that if we get laid off again, if we get furloughed again, if something like this happens in the future, that I'll be better prepared, and I wanna encourage you guys to do the same, even though that may be difficult. Okay. Shalina, I like that name. What if you're disqualified before the weeks? Does the balance still go back to the federal government? Um, I don't quite know how that process happens, but if you have weeks marked as disqualified, that you are still trying to get those weeks back, and then let's say that the EDD does determine you're owed those weeks, even if the balance goes to 0, and I don't really know if we'll still see the balances. I don't know if it will actually disappear or if it will just be hanging it out in our claim, like, tempting us, and we'll see it, we just can't get to it. But let's say that your balance goes to 0 and then they determine that you were eligible even though it said disqualified. So then California would just get that money back from them if it really physically goes back to them. They'd get it back and give it to you if they determine that you're owed it. So, yeah, if they determine that you're owed that money, you should be able to get paid out on that money. Okay. Jesus, will there be a golden stimulus and will people who've been on EDD qualify? So, a lot of people already got the first golden state stimulus. So, what happened with the second one is more people could potentially qualify. They raised the upper income limit to $75,000. So, if you made under $75,000 and you didn't get the first one, then you should qualify for this one. Additionally, they changed the minimum amount down to $0. So even if before you needed to have earned income in order to qualify for the Cal EITC tax credit. But now the new update says that it's okay to have $0 in earned income. So more people are going to qualify. If you didn't get it the first time and you made under $75,000, even if it's just from unemployment money, you should qualify now, but they have until December to get those payments to us. I wanna say it's mid-October that they're supposed to complete direct deposit, but if you're gonna be getting a check, they have all the way till the end of December. Okay. RTG Vaughn says, how do you know if you qualify for backdating even if you did it on the UI web? That's really for the EDD to determine, and it's going to take up to 2 months for them to let you know if they've approved backdating. Um, if your reason was legitimate and you have the documentation to show, like, hey, this is when I was actually unemployed. Here, look, this is when I got my last paycheck. Here, look, this is when my job offer was originally for. I just didn't realize I qualified for benefits until much later, and that's why I'm requesting backdating. As long as the date you're giving them is accurate to when you first became unemployed, fingers crossed they will approve that backdating. But you don't really know until you get the notification from them. Okay. Priscilla, why does mine say to certify after September 19th? I thought PUA ended. I'm confused. So you might have actually been approved for the delayed new claim payment. Maybe you're actually a different claim type. But if it gives you a date to certify, definitely go back to certify, and I hope that you get paid on that. Let's call that happy news. If it's giving you a date to certify, go back and see what happens. Mirror says my last Fed Ed payment is pending. That's odd. See, I would always give it until Wednesday to see if it clears up, 72 hours. And if it doesn't switch to paid by then, you can either call the EDD or email your assembly member. I know you just said that you got a job offer, but don't give up on that final payment. Fight for it. Okay. Right? Wouldn't Jenny and I look cute if we did like an Anna and Elsa like dress up thing? We got to give you guys something fun. Because honestly, like, I've enjoyed helping you guys, but so much of this is it's not fun to be on unemployment. So it would be just so fun to like do something like really lighthearted and just joyous, instead of some of the stuff that's not always fun news to deliver you guys. And again, if you guys are just popping in, I was saying that last year I asked Jenny if she wanted to dress up as Elsa and Anna from Frozen and do like a Q&A that way. And yeah, I think it's a good idea. Okay. Fred says, notice of determination for pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. This is what the letter says. No. That's different. That would just be letting you know if you were eligible for the PEUC extensions. This one says notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. So the one you're talking about is just the one that's saying that's just saying that you're eligible for PEUC. Most of us did get that. So what you're looking for on the DNCP notice is notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation extension. So that's the wording you're looking for to see if you got a DNCP notice. Okay. Joseph says, I know I've asked this before, but can UI benefits be extended if we are attending college full time? I know the EDD has extended benefits in the past when you're in school. Okay, so you guys are asking me about the training program, and I have questions out to the EDD about that. Probably the same contact that Jenny has finally approved me to be a contact as well after all this time. But they're not very fast about getting back to you. Let me look up. I think that you are supposed to have enrolled in the training program in the initial 16 weeks of your claim. But let me double check what that says. Okay. Doop doop. Sorry. I'm still looking for these training dates. Fact sheet training. Eligible. Sorry. Sorry. Says they have to approve of it. You have to be okay. Here's the part. Okay. So this is from the edd.ca.gov website, and this says training extension eligibility. In order to be eligible for a training extension claim, participants must meet all CTB eligibility criteria and inquire about school or training attendance prior to receiving their 16th week of regular UI benefit payments. So unfortunately, so again, a lot of us became unemployed back in March of 2020. We're going to call it a 4-week month, even though some weeks have 5. So 4, 8, 12, 16. That would have been March, April, May, June. We would have needed to request that prior. If you became unemployed in March, you would have needed to do that before like the last week in June, for example, before your 16th week on regular UI. Now, this should be interesting. If someone did qualify for a new claim under the DNCP program and you are now on that new claim, I would think that you could request to be put into a training program as long as you request that within 16 weeks of the new claim. All right. I'm sorry about that. I wish this is one of those situations where I would rather like be dressing up like Anna and Elsa with Jenny than giving you guys that answer. All right. Scotty says, checked and screenshot all my payment types to show that I never had FedEd. Will email my assembly member with this. You go, Scotty. Look at you. Look at you taking action on that. So I want to recap this for those of you who are watching. Scotty thought that he qualified for the 1 week of Fed Ed. He did the earnings requirements. He knows that he meets those earnings requirements. He emailed his assembly member because he didn't get the text and wasn't able to certify for the 1 week of Fed Ed. The assembly member came back and told him, "Oh, you weren't eligible for that. You already got paid under the Fed Ed program type." And the only way that I know how to figure out if you've ever received payments under program type Fed Ed is to go all the way back, probably at least through September of 2020. That's the first time they may have put people on Fed Ed for the most part. Scotty, during the last hour, checked all of his program types, sees that he has not been paid out under the Fed Ed extension. I told him to do that. He screenshotted that. Excuse me. Water. I'm okay. I don't know what's going on. Talking too long without water, most likely. Okay. So Scotty's going to take those screenshots, send them back to his assembly member and say, "See, I never got paid under the program type Fed Ed. So I should be eligible for that 1 extra week of benefits." All right. Jerry says, Jerry, do you live in San Diego? I feel like you're one of my coworkers' dads, and I feel like you maybe used to work for the same company that that I do. Do you have a son named David? Okay, anyway. You have 11 weeks pending. I have been paid 1 week, but haven't been paid a conditional payment. I'm waiting for a phone interview. Will I get it paid if that interview comes after the 30th? Ooh, this is a lot of things. Yes. If they determine that you're eligible, even if they haven't paid you all of your conditional payments by the 30th, which they're supposed to, but if they haven't paid you and they later determine you're eligible, yes, they should pay you, even if that's after September 30th. Keep in mind, though, it works in reverse as well. Let's say that they pay you conditionally, and then when you have your phone interview, they determine that you are not eligible, then they could hit you with an overpayment notice. But yeah, whenever they determine that you're eligible, they should pay you what they owe you, no matter when that happens. Team Cassie says, "Did I talk about when the DNCP claim will start?" I haven't, and this is a great question. This is Cassie's question. I've pretty much been able to stay on top. No, I'm about 20 minutes behind. Now I lost it. Okay, so Cassie. Oh, Team Cassie. That's why. Most of our benefits ended September 4th. So the first, and we certified for that on September 5th. So the earliest that I would think we'd be able to certify for DNCP, because it's all going to kind of reset if you are going onto that program, going back to regular UI, would be Sunday, September 19th. But so far, they haven't seemed to send out information about this. I'm also trying to find out. There is now a 1 week waiting period on new claims. I'm trying to find out if these people that got DNCP notices are going to have to serve the 1 week waiting period that other new claims would have to serve. So if they do have to serve the waiting week, there might be 1 week where you're not paid. I just want to caution everybody about that. I'm still trying to find that out. It's possible that there will be 1 week of no payment. Possible, not for sure. Because the EDD in their last news release, which was not this week, but the week before, they said that they were reinstating the 1 week waiting period. So I don't know if that's going to apply to DNCP claims. If that were the case, the earliest you could certify would be Sunday, September 26th. I'm going to scroll to the very, very bottom. So if I skipped your question, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do about 2 to 3 more questions, and then I have to pop out for the day. Okay, yeah, Brandon, you can still request backdating. Just make sure that you're giving the EDD an accurate date to when you last were unemployed. Kimmy says, "I was denied benefits, appealed, and still denied. Denial was wrong. I put wrong date on the first application. What can I do now? I'm self-employed, but I also just started a W2 job in March 2021. Oh, that's part 1. Kimmy, anytime the EDD messes things up, honestly, it seems like the best course of action is to email your assembly member. It saves you the hassle of calling, and oftentimes they're able to fix your claim. And I have that linked in the description down below. Um, Star says, I filed for a new claim and got notice of determination. So does that mean I'm not eligible? Is that the 1277 letter, determination of invalid claim? Then yes, that means that you're not eligible. A lot of us who want to file new unemployment claims right now or reapply for benefits, we're not going to qualify because there's something that's called lag period. So the lag period means that you need to have completed some work since you filed your original unemployment claim. And so many of us have not been able to return to work and have not been able to complete any work since we first filed our original unemployment claim that it is very likely that when we try and apply for a new claim now that we're not going to qualify. I'm sorry about that. Oh, Andy B at 11:56. All right, I'll get you. 11:56. Here I go. Oh, hi, Emily. And I'll read Maribel's. I see you've got these red stop signs. So we get um Emily says, button for 9.5. Is this an error? I'm on PEUC. Which button? The certify button. If it's not there, call them and get that added on. In that case, I almost would say that calling is still the best way. And the EDD is open today. All right. Andy, just got here, so I'm sorry. I wanted to ask, is EDD still allowing me to certify still, even though I was on extension? And they added more funds. Is that okay? So it sounds like you qualified for the 1 week of Fed Ed. I did talk about this. So they loaded the total number of weeks of Fed Ed that someone could potentially collect, even though the program ended yesterday. So if they loaded all of those weeks onto your claim, 9/11, September 11th, that's still the last eligible date for that program, and then it expires. So, yeah, I do if you actually wanna start like, if you wanna totally rewind this live and go back to the beginning, I talk a lot about that right before I even started taking questions because I kinda thought that would be the number one question today. A lot of people got a text saying that they qualified for up to 20 weeks of Fed Ed. They saw their claim balances increase by all of those weeks. Might only be 13 weeks that they added. They added the whole claim balance, but you're only going to be able to certify and get paid for that one extra week. Um, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Maribel, oh, you're new to the channel. Hello and welcome. Do I need to reapply for a new claim even if I still have a balance, or should I wait for the EDD to reactivate my claim? There's a lot going on with that, Maribel. So, first of all, you can't file a new claim unless your benefit year is over. And even if you have a claim balance, if you are on any program type other than UI, then you're not going to have access to that claim balance. The claim balance gets returned to the federal government if you are on PUA, PEUC, extension tier 2, or extension tier 2 augmentation. If it was any of those types of things, that claim balance is not going to be accessible any longer to you. Also, and now I guess we have to add Fed Ed to that as well. Even so, they loaded people's claim balances up today and they got a huge new claim balance that now they don't have access to. And additionally, you can't file a new claim until your benefit year is over. So if your benefit year is over in October of 2021, you couldn't file a new claim until November. A lot of people's benefit years now say sometime in 2022. You can't file a new claim until after that month in 2022. Additionally, even if you do file a new claim, if your benefit year is ended, you're welcome to try and file a new claim or to reapply and see if you qualify. But even if you have the earnings requirements in terms of $1,400 in the last 18 months, you also need to have completed some work to pass the lag test. Otherwise, you fail lag. And if you fail lag, that means P.S. I feel like I don't enunciate that very well, so I'm saying FAIL space LAG, fail lag. If you fail the lag test that says that you've done some work, then you don't qualify for a new claim. So, in addition to having at least $1,400 in wages in the last 18 months, you also need to have completed some work since you originally filed your claim. Otherwise, you fail lag. If you fail lag, you get the 1277 determination of invalid claim letter and you are not approved for the new claim. So, it's possible to get a benefit award letter that tells you a new amount or might even stay the same amount. But if you also determination of invalid claim letter, that means that you did not truly qualify for a new claim. Okay. Emily, did I answer your? Oh, yeah, I answered yours. MC says you're part of the time. No, 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 no. No. So organized and you're getting paid less. So unorganized. If you're having trouble with your claim, please reach out to your assembly member and try and get them to help pay you. Carl says, my claim expired. Do I have to apply to backdate? I want everyone to be really careful with backdating. What circumstances caused you not to file the claim when you first became eligible, when you first lost your job, or when you first had to close your business? The EDD is probably going to ask for documentation confirming why you're backdating. But yeah, if you didn't apply when you first became unemployed, when you first closed your business, when you first found out that the job offer that you were receiving got rescinded, then you would be eligible to backdate your unemployment claim. And you're welcome to request that. You go to Ask EDD from your UI Online homepage and then request backdating. It's going to take up to 2 months to find out that you're approved. And we just talked about the qualifications to truly qualify for a new claim. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Okay, Debbie Hall wants to know the hottest movies. There's something called the card counter that's doing pretty well, and then Shang-Chi, the Marvel movie, is still doing well from last week. Indy, I don't know how come I can't see your first comment, but I don't post it again instead of just saying that. Okay, Jerry. Oh, Jerry's from Northern California. Everything is so confusing with the EDD. I agree. Okay, Brett. You just got an email saying you had a week to certify. So I did. I didn't get any other notification. All right. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you got this week to certify. Okay. Deja, if your benefit year is over, even if you were on an extension, it never hurts to apply. Indy, just ask your question again. Please don't do that. I'm only taking a few more questions. I didn't see it. If you want to ask again, but don't just keep saying that you asked it already. I'm so sorry. Ask it again. Okay. So yes, you can, even if you're like, Shelly, you're wrong, I'm going to apply. It never hurts to apply, right? The worst they're going to tell you is no. But if you know that you don't have enough wages to qualify, if you know you haven't done any work, you have to decide if it's up to you. But I did say, I haven't said this last little bit on this stream. I actually had 2 employees who filed new claims back when their benefit year ended, and they did not do any work since they filed their original unemployment claims, and they got approved for a new claim. So it's never going to hurt to try and apply and see if you qualify, and maybe the EDD will mess up and push your claim through even if they shouldn't. But be careful, because if at some point they were like, oh, they really shouldn't have qualified for the new claim, I wouldn't want you guys to get like an overpayment notice. Okay. Above. While waiting on an appeal, can you request back pay? You know, I this is gonna be terrible. Um, I would probably try and address that in the appeal hearing or try and get I don't think they're able to take any other actions on your claim while you're awaiting the appeal. Okay, in this case, that's complicated. You're awaiting an appeal and you wanna backdate your claim. I would email your assembly member and because they're a government official, right? I'm just some YouTuber that, like, is trying to help my employees and so read the documents really carefully. But I'm cautious to advise you to add, like, too many layers of complications on your claim because the EDD does not seem to have handled it well. So I would email your assembly member and I would say, "Hey," I would tell them what you just told me. "Hey, I'm already waiting for an appeal on my claim, but I also need to request backdating on my claim. I'm nervous to request the backdating while I'm waiting for the appeal because I don't want my claim to get messed up even more. What advice do you have for me?" And then what advice do you have for me? Should I request backdating now or should I bring this up during my appeal hearing? And then it's the government official giving you that advice instead of a random girl on YouTube. I try very hard to give accurate information and cite my sources, but in that case, I don't wanna give you information that could make your claim even more complicated, but I hope you win your appeal and that you're approved for backdating. And I'm sorry if I didn't see your question originally. Okay. Um, okay. Purple, I love when you leave the bat, so I'm glad that I'm streaming still right now. Okay. You just checked and you have a UI claim, but pasted my benefit year with a remaining balance left. Will I still be able to certify and collect? Oh, but you passed your benefit year. If your benefit year has ended, at some point the EDD computer system is gonna catch it and it's gonna cause all the payments to go pending. If your benefit year has ended, you do need to try and file a new claim now. Okay. All right. All right, Deja. So yeah, it sounds like it would definitely be worth it for you to try and file a new claim. I should have also said that you need to complete some W-2 work. And honestly, there's been so much back and forth with how Uber and Lyft are classifying their drivers. Like one minute they were classified as W-2 and the next they're independent contractors again. It never hurts to try and file a new claim and see what happens. Okay. Um, Yang says, "I just applied after the deadline and got paid in 2 days. That's awesome." Deja, I think in your case, it's never gonna hurt to try and file, right? Worst case scenario is they're gonna tell you no. I guess my point in telling you the qualifications is just so that you don't get your hopes up that you'll be approved. It does need to be W-2 wages, but I do not know how Uber and Lyft are classifying people these days. Tony, thank you for the donation so much. Did you have a question? I'll hop on and I'll keep a lookout for your question. In NDB, I did answer your question now. Okay. I like went into a long answer about not wanting to give you the wrong information. I don't want you to have compounding issues on your account, so please ask your assembly member. Aw, thank you. Aw, thank you, Tony. That's really nice of you to say. I really appreciate that. I've enjoyed helping all of you guys. When I started making videos, I thought it was just gonna be like my staff. I was like, "Oh my god, we closed corporate office. They're gonna have so many questions." Um, how do I get the information to them? Oh, I'll make videos. And I've helped a lot of you guys in the way. I've got to know a lot of you guys and it's been really nice. So thank you, thank you. NDB, will I get my other weeks? So you're gonna have to wait till you have your appeal hearing to find out if they approve that or not. Okay. Cast, does DNCP come automatic or do you need to reapply? So if you got the letter about DNCP, they are supposed to automatically roll you over onto your new UI claim. It's not something that you can apply for. This is something that you would have already received a letter about when your original benefit year ended. but of course it's the EDD. So the original letter does not say DNCP. It doesn't say deferred new claim payment. What it says is notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. Because what happened is even though you qualified for a new claim, you're eligible to stay on the extension because staying on the extension resulted in you getting a higher weekly benefit amount. So they kept you on the extension until the extensions were no longer available, and now they're going to roll you over onto your new claim. And it even says, what happens to my new regular unemployment claim? Your new regular UI claim will remain open until your benefit year end, your new benefit year end. However, you won't be paid the new claim and PEUC once you have collected all available benefits on your PEUC extension, and if you are still unemployed and eligible, the EDD will automatically start paying benefits on your new regular UI claim. There is no need to contact the EDD. So they are supposed to roll you over automatically if you got the notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation extension. Oh, good. Look at my hair. Whee! Boop. Okay. All right, Erica. What am I helping with? Erica, I definitely did not see your question. If you want to post that, I'll take a couple more questions, then I'll look for Erica's question, and then I'll end the stream for the day. Miss Couture says, I never received my debit card and I have moved. I'm now working, but I certified payments, 3 payments. What should I do? Oh, that's going to be tough also. I would email. You're going to need to update your address with the EDD, and that may take some time. I would also call the Bank of America debit card people and let them know you moved. And it also, since all that's going on, it might be easier to request checks instead of getting the payments on the debit card. And also, that's again, sometimes when there's layers of complication, you've moved and you're back to work. So it's going to be like ID verification, and the debit card needs to be sent to a different address, and you're working, so you might not need benefits anymore, so you're not certifying. When there's all these layers of things that can potentially cause problems, that's when I'm going to tend to nudge you towards emailing your assembly member and letting them sort out the mess for you. So maybe call the Bank of America EDD debit card people first, not the EDD number. From there, if they say they can't mail it to the new address or that you need to update your address with the EDD, definitely do whatever they tell you to do, but then also email your assembly member. Okay. Let's see if I see Erica's question. All right. AK-47 said that they reached out to their assembly member and never received a response. I would send a follow-up email. I would say, hey guys, I emailed you this 3 weeks ago. Do you have a response for me yet? And then the office of Lorena Gonzalez, right? Lorena Gonzalez. Her office has been extremely helpful, even if she's not your representative. So if after reaching out to your assembly member again, you still don't get a response, then try the office of Lorena Gonzalez to see if they can help you. Okay. Anna, thank you for helping everybody. Deja, I'm glad Anna was able to help you. Why am I? Yeah, it doesn't hurt to try. That's kind of my stance as well. 3 Pingu says, if on PUA and reach max benefits paid a month or 2 ago, and it's been over a year, don't I still receive the Fed supplement through September 4th? Yes, you should, but PUA shouldn't have received a max benefits paid message before September 4th anyway. It sounds like maybe you were on PEUC and maybe they didn't roll you over onto the next extension. And in that case, you would need to email your assembly member and have them help you get those payments. All right, Erica, I don't see any questions from you, so I'll do a couple more and then I'm going to hop off for the day. Guzman says, my year has not ended, but I received a notification that all my benefits have been paid. Will I be able to collect? No. That claim balance essentially gets returned to the federal government. You don't have access to that any longer, and you would have to wait until your benefit year ends to file a new claim. Thank you, David. Yes. Give a shout out to Lady Renika Henry. David loves you. David Ortiz loves Lady Renika Henry. That's so sweet. Renika, sounds like you've got a good man. That's awesome. Done and done. Love conquers all. Okay. Aw, thank you, Miss Couture. All right. Okay, Erica, I don't see your message. Star says, what if I got a notice of determination, but I did some work? It might not be enough. If you believe that you qualified and they said that you're not, you can try. So I'll try and make a video on that. I've actually made a video on that in the past, trying to define what some work is, because I want to say that it's like $900 and a quarter or more than $1,300. And I know for myself, like I had actually done a little bit of work. I'd worked a day here and a day there when I filed my new claim, but I still got the determination 1277 letter because it wasn't enough work. But it's really hard to find out what the sum work requirement is, but I will try and look into that again. Yeah. So Cassidy backdating, it can take up to 2 months to find out if you have been approved for the backdating. Thank you, Kip. Debbie. When's my mom coming back on the show? The cat is wonderful. He is spoiled. I want to make a video with my mom. I might make it a little bit of a clickbaity title, like living on $1,100 a month in Los Angeles County or something like that, because that is about her total income. And that's what she lives off of total on a month because she's on a fixed income. But yeah, we're going to go through her budget. Erica, we can see you writing, but I don't see the original question. Aw, Becca, that's sweet. You guys are so cute. Okay. So backdating can take up to 2 months to find out if it's approved or not. So if it's only been a month, that might be why you haven't heard yet. I don't know why am I getting so many of these questions that say, did I see the question? I have been able to answer almost all the questions I see. Okay, Miss Couture, did I thank you for the donation? Because thank you. Audrey says, if there's money in the B of A account, you can download transfer to your regular bank account. Yes, that is true. Also, once the funds are loaded onto your Bank of America EDD debit card, those funds are yours to spend until they're gone. So let's just be clear about that. But I do advise you guys to transfer this into a traditional bank account. Jarrett says, my claim status tracker is saying that they need to have a phone interview after already completing a phone interview back in August. They barely just started paying out the backdating claims. Seems wrong. There seems to be a lot of glitches and misinformation on those claim status trackers. So we do anticipate that that will be rectified in the next couple weeks. So let's give it some time to work out all those bugs. Admin Shifty. Hello. Thank you. All right. Well, my voice seems like it's starting to go. Nama, I do want to address yours. If the last time you got paid was $530, please email your assembly member. That link is in the video description down below. They seem to be able to get most people paid consistently with the least amount of hassle. Yep, and that's what admin's saying also. Oh, Zerk. Oh dear. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're gonna end today. I don't know if something's wrong with my chat. Yes, we are definitely going to go over my mom's spending budget, living on a fixed income. Okay. That seems like a good place to end because I don't know why you guys are all telling me that I can't see your comments. Thank you so much for watching Shelly's Millions. Have a great day. I will see you next time. Tomorrow, which is tomorrow night at 9.